I always wanted a greenhouse. I love to garden, start a lot of seeds, and always needed a place to harden them off. However, any commercially available greenhouses were out of my price range, so the only way I could afford one was to build it myself. I did a lot of research and decided on the cattle panel design, but with a lot of my own improvements. The base of my greenhouse consists of treated 2x6s. The overall dimensions are 7 foot 3 inches wide by 12 foot 3 inches long. In order to secure it to the ground, I drilled half-inch holes through the 2x6s and drove 2 foot long half-inch rebar into the ground. It has not moved an inch in 3 years. The end wall frames are made from 2x4s. I notched the door, window, and shelf supports to fit around the base. All the face frame joints were fastened with pocket holes. 2 pocket holes on one side and 1 pocket hole centered on the other side. It's a great way to secure face framing. The shelf supports and ridge are untreated 2x4s. I used 3-inch exterior construction screws to fasten the shelf support framing to the end wall framing. As an added precaution, I secured blocks to the end wall framing under the shelf supports. The ridge was toe-nailed with a couple of 8D nails, and then a right-angled bracket was screwed to the bottom of the ridge and the end wall headers. The shelf slats were cut from untreated 1x6 by 6 foot cedar fence pickets. I nailed them to the shelf supports with galvanized 4D nails. I can fit about 29 1020 trays on the lower shelves. I used 3 50-inch by 16-foot 4-gauge cattle panels for the hoop portion of the structure. The cattle panels were secured to the end wall framing, shelf supports, and base with fence staples. I also used grid wall connectors to connect the cattle panels at the joints. To protect the plastic, I covered the cattle panel joints and end wall wire with half-inch piping insulation. The piping insulation was secured to the cattle panels with zip ties. I had to notch the piping insulation where it intersected with the horizontal wires and elements of the framing. I purchased a roll of 16-foot by 25-foot 6mm greenhouse plastic from Amazon. Basically, I draped it over the greenhouse, centered it, pulled the wrinkles out of it, and secured it to the end wall frames and base with wooden nailers. The door and window are made out of 2x4s. I used the same pocket hole technique to join the frames. I covered them with scrap plastic left over from the greenhouse ends and secured it to the frames with wooden nailers. The hardware is very basic: butt hinges for the door and window, a barrel bolt, gate handle, screen door spring, eye hook, and an automatic vent opener. The upper shelves are made from 1x6 by 6 foot untreated cedar fence pickets. I used eye bolts, S-hooks, some screws and washers, and hung them from the cattle panels. There are 4 shelves that measure 48 inches long and 2 that are 40 inches long. They are both 1 foot 3 inches wide. I can put 2 1020 trays on each one. They work great, and I've never had any problem with them. All in all, I am very happy with this little greenhouse. It really has proven itself over the past 3 years. It's very sturdy and functional. If you want to build one yourself, I provided a link in the description where you can get the plans. Thanks for watching.